There seems to be a general consensus that small talk just sucks. Almost everyone I talk to wants to skip the small talk and get to deeper topics immediately. So the question is, how can you do that, especially with people that you just met? In this video, I'm gonna give you a 3-step, super simple formula for going past small talk and deepening any conversation that you'd like. Before we talk about the formula, we need to establish what deep talk even is. So the 2 defining characteristics of deep talk to me are that it's emotional and that it's vulnerable. So deep talk often addresses topics, such as goals, aspirations, wishes, fears, challenges that you have right now. But it's obvious that you can't just start a conversation with someone that you just met with, "Hey, how's it going? How about you tell me about your deepest fears and insecurities?" Making that first step towards deep talk is often the biggest hurdle for people. And that brings me to the first part of my formula, as well as a story from my student days. So one evening on the campus, I sat there after an exam and this girl started talking to me. She was like, "How did the exam go?" And in that situation, I was like, oh my God, more small talk, all these pleasantries. "Oh, it went great. How did the exam go for you?" "Yeah, I also did good." I was zero in the mood for a conversation like that. And so I was like, let's try to deepen that conversation and make it more interesting. And so I tried something new. The first part of the formula is to match the level of emotion that the other person is giving you. So in our situation where, that girl from campus asked me how I did on the exam, I just matched it with, "The exam went great. I think it's gonna be an A." This matching of the emotional level that you're presented with is that first important step towards getting deeper. Because as we said earlier, you can't just go deep right away. So first you match their level of emotion and then you have the chance to go deeper. So I continued with, "I'm so relieved it's over now. I studied for such a long time and I almost went crazy studying for this exam." And that was already step 2, which is you open up first. You show vulnerability first and introduce emotion. By doing that, you allow the other person to open up. It's so much easier for someone to share something personal once someone else has already done that. So always be the first one to open up. At this point, she was really into the conversation and immediately replied like, "I feel exactly the same way. At some point it was just way too much and I couldn't study anymore. And so I just called up a bunch of friends and asked them to go out with me. And so we went on this crazy binge drinking spree. And yeah, not a good idea, but I needed it in that moment." So you see, just because I opened up first and told her that, it was really hard for me to study for this and it almost drove me crazy, it enabled her to also share something personal from her life. And immediately the conversation was much more interesting. At this point, I was presented with many possible opportunities and directions to take the conversation in. And that brings me to part 3 of the 3-step formula. And that is gradually introduce more and more emotion to deepen the conversation. Of course, you don't have to do that. You can go back to small talk, or you can, make it more flirtatious, or you can go into any direction you like. For example, a really easy continuation here would have been, "Man, I admire you. I could never get back to studying again after drinking. Like, for me, I have to stay in the rhythm. And once I break that, it's over. I don't have your self-discipline." It's very easy to continue once someone else has opened up a little. So it really is about that first step for most of us. Of course, not everyone's always gonna be receptive to you talking to them on an emotional level. Some people are they're busy at the moment, or it's not the right situation to do it, or they feel uncomfortable, or they themselves don't know how to do it. So even if you apply the formula, you're gonna come across people that it just doesn't work with, But the thing is, when someone is open to deeper talk and the situation is right, then it's a guaranteed way for you to get past small talk and have a much more interesting conversation. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please do us a quick favor and like and subscribe to our channel. And also don't forget to ring the bell so you always get our notifications when we publish a new video. Thanks so much for watching and enjoy.